markets. Congressman, good to have you back.
Nice being here, Carl.
The president's gotten a lot done. He said he wanted to get a lot of these consumer bills out before Memorial Day, and it looks like he's done it. Just on the credit card bill, it's going to require 45 days notice for them to change the rates, going to make it harder for them to issue credit cards to students. Is it tough enough? Is it too tough? We've already got banks saying it's going to dry up credit.
Well, it's coming from two problems. The Federal Reserve issues some rules and regulations. Now we have this statute. I think we're sending a message that the credit card companies haven't gotten for a number of years now, is that they have to be more responsible to the marketplace and that we can't allow them to take advantage of American credit card holders. And that's what it's about. But incidentally, Carl, could you tell Joe that I've been monitoring your sister station, and there's some guy over there that's trying to steal Joe's name, and you know we better watch out, and you better take action.
Can you introduce something? I mean, I don't know whether your committee actually goes over things like that, but can you do anything?
We may have to enact a special act of Congress to protect your property rights and copyright to that.
I mean, 14 years versus 2, Congressman. It just seems to me that. But thank you. I appreciate that.
We're looking out for you.
You think you could do a 2 minutes on that? One of the 2-minute speeches in the mornings on that? Maybe not. I guess that's a no. But
Joe's going to have to send me a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got them. I'm ready.
Back on the credit card thing, how are you going to respond to allegations from the industry that you're taking away at least one engine of their revenue-generating machine?
Well, I think what we have here is an indication of what has gone awry over the last number of years in our credit system and in our economy, and why we're in trouble. It seems everybody races to excess, and whether it's cause for the desire and practice of greed, or whether it's just don't give a damn attitude, whatever it is. But now that we're hitting people who can least afford incredible increases that are really uncalled for. And, you know, some of us have been very responsible with the credit card companies, and I'm one of them. Back in 1991, Senator D'Amato of New York and President George Bush I tried to put a cap on credit cards. And we oppose that because we recognize that some credit cards with having sliding interest rates are able to be offered to people that otherwise wouldn't get credit. But I think they've now exceeded their responsible boundaries.
Yeah, I guess it could have been worse, right? We could have had this cap on rates altogether.
Oh, yeah. At one time, you know, there were usury laws. There aren't any usury laws. We're not going to try and put them into place. But I think we can't afford to have people going from 9% to 30% because you were late on your utility bill. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah. Does having these consumer bills in place now, does that open the door for the administration to start tackling things like health care and energy? Are the decks cleared?
Well, they're not only cleared, but they've been working on that all along since the president was inaugurated. These are rolling out things, and yesterday when we were down in the White House, we talked about that. The president signed 2 bills. He's going to sign another, the credit card bill, on Friday. And we've got a host of bills moving through the Congress up here. We'll take the Memorial break time, but we'll be moving right through the summer on energy, on health care, on education, on all these bills.
Congressman Andrew Sorkin here. I just want to go back to the credit card issue for a second, which is the following. In terms of the timing of this, obviously this is going to help a lot of people, but when you look at the cost-benefit analysis in terms of people who won't get credit for after this and the additional costs that will go up, what does it actually look like? It's clearly going to help people who are in need right now, but in a longer term.
Well, I hope it's sort of a warning light to credit card companies and financial institutions, both banking and non-banking institutions, that what we ran into here was excess in all places of the market and disregard for the customer. I think we have to pull them back. It's the same thing, Andrew, it's just leveraging. People now have to realize you can't leverage 50 to 1 or 100 to 1 and have a stable economy. And they have to take note of that. And the Congress shouldn't regulate everything, but sometimes we have to send very poignant messages to these individuals to make sure they get it.
And by the way, what do you make of the gun situation? I mean, I think it's a silly question, but it's a real question.
Well, you know, I come from gun country in Pennsylvania, so I'm sort of sympathetic to hunters, whatnot, and they're fairly responsible. I don't think we're going to have a problem. I think it's something we can control. Unfortunately, the Senate doesn't have rules to protect against those things, so it was thrown on the bill, and the president has to make a decision to take a bill that he agrees with 99% of the issues and disagrees potentially with one.
Senator Coburn, in this case, really wanted that thing to go, didn't he?
Tom's a very good parliamentarian. He understands exactly how to use the rules of the Senate well, and he accomplishes it, and did in this instance.
This is, again, for something that will allow people to take guns into the in national parks. That
Right.
was added on as a rider.
What's the idea there? I'm trying to figure. What's the idea there, Congressman?
Well, you know, sometimes these are attempts to put poison pills on bills, and very often it detracts our focus from what the real issue is to the poison pill. But in this instance, I think both the Congress and the President are being very responsible to recognize that we are all favor 99% of what the issues are. I happen to favor the last issue. It doesn't bother me or my constituents, but I understand there are people in the country that don't necessarily agree with that.
You're not carrying right now, Congressman.
No, I'm not. I have a club to protect you and to get our name back, Joe.
Absolutely, I like that. But what? You can't hunt in parks, can you? I mean, what's the idea? I'm just trying to figure out how. What would, if you were a proponent of that, what would you say was the rationale?
Well, example,
protection?
I was in Glacier National Park and in parks in Alaska, and I actually witnessed boots being left over after grizzlies had visited a camp and killed. So if you can't have a loaded gun there, you don't have protection.
All right, work with me. Yeah, now I feel like that was a dumb question, so that makes some sense. But you're not talking about a handgun.
Well, we're talking about rifles, too.
Okay.
If you're going to take a grizzly down, you better have a rifle, Joe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Finally, Congressman, the lead story in the Washington Post this morning is about the financial system thawing to some degree, even though a lot of these rescue programs are really just getting started. When is the sense on the Hill that those things will actually be in second or third gear?
Well, we're all getting as optimistic, but we want to be cautiously optimistic. Last night I had dinner with Alan Greenspan and Alan Binder, and we talked about those very points. And I think both of them said that they're very optimistic in terms, cautiously